Hey everyone, I am Keegan Allen. I'm here in Facebook's offices in New York City. Very excited to be here and talk about my new book, photo book, Hollywood, which is available today. It just came out yesterday, and it was really fun meeting everybody for the book launch in Union Square. I'm heading to Paramus tonight, but I wanted to take some time and talk to all of you, meet all of you through Facebook Live, and answer some questions. And also talk about the book. So, first of all, thank you for joining me. You can't see it, but this office is massive. They have lights on the walls. They have tons of sound equipment that doesn't probably work but looks really aesthetic. You can't see above me, but there's tons of lights. It's really cool. Take my word for it. I'm excited to be here at Facebook. You might have thought I had things in my hand, but guess what? I just have the word Facebook. So I'm kind of lost without knowing what I'm talking about, and that's why we're gonna go to your questions and comments. Are there questions and comments? Are there people watching?
Touch it. Oh,
Oh, I just touch it. What inspired you to what inspired you to write the book? Well, that's great. Okay. So you just touch it. That's great. What inspired me to write the book was growing up in Hollywood as a photographer from a really young age, at 9 years old. I got a really cool film camera from my dad, borrowed it, stole it, but borrowed it, and was able to kind of see the world from a different angle. I always wanted to be an artist, and I had artist parents. I had parents that were very supportive, and they allowed me to walk through life and capture images. And it was a really, really wonderful upbringing because then I wanted to be an actor and fully supported me in doing that. But I had a unique look at the city of Hollywood from a different perspective than a lot of people that I had known had tried to do books on it or explain it, and I wanted to bring that idea of the dream, the chase, the land, of so many opportunities to everybody across the world, people that already live there, natives, and people that have never been there, people that have maybe come there for tourism. I wanted to bring this book as my vision to everybody to kind of be an interactive tour through the city that I love so much, while I expose it and protect it. How is this book different from your first book? It's a good question. It's a My first book was more of an inspection of my life growing up as a photographer and as an actor. This book is more of an inspection and an expose of Hollywood, um, but as you dig a bit deeper, I think you might find it's an expose of the human element and how even though a lot of the people that I had photographed, whether they were street performers or famous actors or famous social media personalities or just people on the street walking to and from their daily job or their life or whatever their story was, everybody's connected so closely to each other, and all you need to do is take a moment to make eye contact and allow people to see you as yourself. And it was a lesson to me as a photographer because normally I photograph from really far away. I'm a little bit more reticent to get closer to people, but this time I feel like I was more vulnerable in my photography, and that lent to these images feeling to me a lot more vulnerable than my first book. Do you miss working every day on a TV show? Well, I don't. It's not that I haven't worked since, but I don't miss. I do miss it, but I don't feel like it's something that's to be missed. I had such a great time working on it, and it was a wonderful chapter in my life. So, and while I was shooting the end of the show, I was still shooting Hollywood. So, it was just constant. I'm just constantly creating, so I don't really have time to miss anything. If you could play any other character in any movie or TV show, who would it be? I would want to do something. I would want to be on Stranger Things. It'd be cool because I really love that show. Um, it'd be cool to be in Game of Thrones, which is like kind of a bridge between movies and television. And there's a really great show called Barry on HBO that I just think is the funniest thing. If you're an actor and you watch Barry, try and leave your emotions at the door because it's a really intense look at the actor's world. But I really love that show too. It would be wonderful to be in there. Rapid fire. Here we go. Oh, here they are. What, okay. I'm answering questions for people. Ashley Nicole Liss asks, "Hey Ashley, what's up?" I know Ashley, she's great. She asks, "Where do you see Spoby now?" That's a good question. So people have asked me about this, and some people are upset about the way that the show had ended that relationship. I think Marlene King is a genius because what she did was she allowed all of us to imagine our own perfect outcome for that relationship, uh, instead of visually placing an exact reason why that happened. I personally like to think that they live in a small lake house outside of town, and they have a Labrador Retriever. Maybe there's a baby cooing in a crib, and Tobias pulls the newspaper closer to him and his cup of coffee and opens up the newspaper, and it's like, Rosewood, major things are happening, or whatever, like huge, scary things, or whatever. And he goes, glad we don't live in Rosewood anymore. And Spencer's like, yeah, you know. So I like to imagine that that realm exists, and that's my own reality of where they are. But you might have your own, and that's why I think Marlene was very smart not to paint that, because you know, once you paint it, you can't undo it. Uh, let's see. The next question is Lauren Can asks, "What's your favorite thing to take a picture of?" I really like taking photos of people and atmospheres. So what is an atmosphere? Atmospheric photo to me. I feel like today in New York it's raining and there's a cloud hanging over the Empire State Building, but you can still see it kind of like it's just this amazing, it looks like a dreadnought in the distance. But I love those atmospheric photos in which you use the contrast to your advantage. And also people. Love taking pictures of people. Is Lauren Helmig asks, is there coming a book, third book, a 3 book? I know what you mean. I know what you mean. Yeah, I'm working on a 3rd book at the moment, but for right now, I'm really, really pleased with the way that Hollywood turned out, and it took a long time to do Hollywood. Jordan Loria asks, what advice would you give aspiring actors? I always feel like acting, to me, anything in the arts is a craft. You get better at it the more that you do it and the more the time that you put into it. And if you feel good doing it, then you will find happiness eventually. It's not about feeling happy while you do it, because there's a lot of times doing anything in life where you might love doing it, but you're not happy yet. Happiness is from the accomplishment of doing the thing that you feel good until you've accomplished it, right? So don't worry about, if you're an actor, don't worry about if you're not, you know, booking roles or you're not going out on auditions. Like, really study the craft and read really great. I always feel like read really great acting books. Like, read An Actor Prepares by Konstantin Stanislavski. Read Sanford Meisner on acting. Read Stella Adler, Great American Playwrights, and read the Great American Playwrights. Read contemporary plays. Go to theater. See what you want and envision yourself to be standing on that stage if that's what you want. Your neural pathways are stronger than you think. Okay. Megan Canoes asks me, if you could go back and change one thing in your life, would you? That's an intense thought. I immediately was like, freeze frame. You may be wondering how I got in this position. That's me. I don't think I would want to change anything. I've thought about this at length, especially being a photographer. You look at photos and you feel like you're in a time machine, and you can go back through time and go, oh man, why don't I look happy in this photo? My life was so much better then, right? But you don't realize that your life is constantly changing and every chapter of your life is getting better or turning into what you ultimately keep putting out there around you. Not to get too existential, but I would not change anything about my life right now. Eva Martin asks, what made you want to write books? I really, really love sharing stories, and I love sharing photography. And at a really young age, I would keep an archaic form of social media, a tiny little photo album, which no one really probably keeps anymore because it's all on Facebook. Everything, I keep it all on Facebook, but I still would print photos, and I would keep them in this like little book, and I would go to family and friends and to gatherings because I was antisocial. really introverted, so much so that I would have to, after parties, go into a quiet space and then be like, because of the introvert in me would be overwhelmed. But my way of connecting with people socially was to bring my photography to people, and I wouldn't have captions. I would just be like, look at this photo I took. Tell me what you think. Explain to me what it looks like to you. Because you or I could take a very similar photo of something, even of this back wall with the bricks and the cool lights hanging. We could take a very similar photo, but it'll mean different things to both of us, and the interpretations from other will be subjective and completely different if we took it to a massive scale. So I love bringing my work to others, and then I'm inspired by what they see and what they think. Um, Even if sometimes it's more constructive than it is celebrated. Um, we'll do one more here. So many. Thank you for all your questions, by the way. Amazing, everybody. What's up? Um, let's see. The next question. There's a lot of good questions.
Megan, which is if you could use any camera for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Ooh. Megan's asking if you could use any camera for the rest of your life, what would it be? Okay, so this is a funny thing. I knew you guys all here, like you guys know about gear. Like gear is incredible, and as we evolve in technology, the gear is only going to get better. Like I bought a Fuji X100 back years ago, and I couldn't believe it. Oh my God, a rangefinder with a screen inside the viewfinder. But now, they have the technology has surpassed itself tenfold, and now you have like X100F with an X-Trans 2 sensor and all these things. So I would go back to basics. I would get a Leica M6 with an analog light meter and as many rolls of film as I could, because when you don't have the limitations of battery, you can, I guess, keep shooting forever, and it's always gonna have that. You'll eventually get better at the medium. But yeah, I would probably keep my Leica M6 forever. It's great. That or the M9, which is a completely different beast. Has a CCD sensor. It was developed by Kodak at the end of the Kodachrome era. In 2010, Steve McCurry shot the last ever roll of Kodachrome. It's really cool. Look it up. And if you don't know what Kodachrome is, treat yourself. Treat yourself right now. Go to Flickr. Go to anywhere, just type in Google and type in Kodachrome and look at actual chrome slide film. The colors were unapologetically saturated, but in beautiful and stunning ways. And because of the end of that era, Leica and Kodachrome both merged and collaborated and made the CCD sensor, which doesn't exist in cameras anymore. Everything's a CMOS sensor now. And they made this amazing bridge between film and digital. So the M9 is incredible, and I shot about a little bit under half of my book on a digital M9, and then half of the book on film on my M6. So yeah, as far as that goes. Oh yeah, let's do one more question. There's a lot of good questions here. As a photographer, do you prefer black and white or photography or color by Honor Waterfield? Oh, I love your name. That's an opulent name. Honor Waterfield asks. So, Honor, I prefer both of those, and I like to utilize black and white because once you take away all of the color out of a photo, it makes you really focus on, especially if you're shooting somebody, focus on their soul. You can't see any of the things that they're wearing or anything that they're doing. The background becomes a grayscale, and when you shoot in monochrome, it does that. It makes you makes the viewer focus in, and color is a very different beast actually. So I liked to oscillate between the two, and in Hollywood, if you guys get the book, you will see that each photo is paired and married to certain aspects of the black and white ratio, monochromatic ratio, and then a color ratio, so that there is a constant oscillation of the two, in working in theme. Yeah. So let me see. There's so many good questions. Hey, thank you all so much for checking it out. I'm shook. Okay, last question. Jana Jana Bormans asks, "Why is photography so important and special for you?" I feel like um, it's the most important means of human communication, and when we see a photo, we remember sometimes if it's an iconic photo, we remember where we are when it was brought to our eyes, and we all have different interpretations of an image and different feelings. We experience different things, visceral things or topical things that are embedded in us as a society, and I think that's so interesting how that this format of art sometimes can influence and impact us so deeply. Is that good? All right, awesome. Uh, Full name, it says. Hey, my name is Keegan Philip Francis Richard Xavier Allen, and you're watching Facebook Live. Thank you guys. Is that it? Oh, all right. Well, that was it. And if you want to pick up my book, Hollywood, it's in stores today and available with any of the retailers that you are aware of. You can also go to www.keeganallenbook.com to find out more about tour dates. If you're in the New Jersey area, go to Paramus tonight at 7. I'll be there signing books, talking to all of you. I'll be in Chicago tomorrow, and then check out the rest of the tour on there. If you're anywhere else in the world, Brazil, you know what's up. You know what's up. Go to www.keeganallenlive.com to get a signed book anywhere in the world. I just signed another couple hundred copies. We had sold out, but don't despair. You can still do it now. And thank you guys all so much for being so supportive. Have a great rest of your evening or night or day or morning.